Hello and welcome to the Arcade Football Podcast. We are moving on nicely with Season 2. I'm Carl Dixon, joined by two Matts in the studio, Matt Thowney.
Hello.
And Matt Ty. And
hello.
We can finally announce we've got a new signing here. Graham Eyre is with us.
Hello. Finally.
Finally. It took you a while, Graham. Don't know what's
how's the hamstring holding up?
Things come to those who but it's good that my injuries are finally starting to heal up.
There we go.
We've got a lot to work through in a limited amount of time because of technical issues. We don't think we'll have too long. We got around 55 minutes maybe. Technical issues have stopped us, and Matt's got a very busy schedule, Matt Thowney, so we'll have to move quickly.
He's a hard man to pin down.
Remember, direct all complaints to Matt Thowney.
At Matt Thowney. But we got loads to speak through, so we'll whiz through. Well, not whiz through, but we'll try and get through quickly. We'll start breaking news today. Leeds United have been served a winding up position by our solicitors over unpaid fees. Graham, I know you're from Yorkshire.
Yeah, not far from Leeds. It's really bad news. It's pretty sad to be hearing stuff like this. You never want to hear about any club, but obviously pretty much my hometown club, so yeah.
But the thing is, the fee's only about 150,000. You've got to think Giolino, who sold Ross McCormack for about 11 million, should be able to go, here you go.
Well, he's trying to buy the stadium for £16 million off of previous owner, so
surely you'd want
surely
the club.
You can afford that.
There's no point in having a stadium if the club's not there.
Well, that's quite logical, but I don't think Leeds United do logic. No. Ken Bates, it seems to all surround him, these problems, as usual. The former Chelsea chairman. He sold the club in 2012, but it's debts from there. Isn't it right, though, that the new chairman should be paying it if it's the club's debt?
He needs to get it out of the way, I think. Just put the money down, get rid of it.
Get it done.
Well, he must have known when he bought it.
Surely there's got to be accounts of it, and you've got to go through all that stuff like as part of due process, I assume. So
yeah, maybe he's lazy, I can't. No, I won't do it.
We'll do it tomorrow.
Well, Giolino has certainly not praised himself in British press like getting rid of like 4 managers this season.
He's not covered himself in glory.
No.
Well, Leeds have got their problems, that's for sure. It has brought up the issue of the fit and proper tests for owners, which an MP yesterday claimed needed to be redone, needed to be changed. There's a few clubs that have had problems with it. Coventry, well known. Birmingham City's owners in jail in China. That's a shame. Definitely, yeah. And Hereford United were put back into the 7th tier of English football because of their money problems. So, are we all in agreement that something needs to be done?
Something definitely does need to be changed, because when Ken Bates was Chelsea owner, he got the club to sort of near where it is now, but he also did it out of huge, immense debt, which Abramovich, thankfully, cleared most of it. But so I don't get why Leeds are sort of surprised that he's done it, but at the same time they should have been prepared for something like this. Yeah,
I mean that's kind of a part of football these days, whether you like it or not. So you kind of know that when you're buying a football club, there's going to be some baggage attached, but you wouldn't think it would be something like that to bring down one of the oldest clubs in the country.
Well, that is a problem. Money, a problem for Leeds. Money also a problem. Not a problem. Definitely not a problem for the FA. They're making loads of it from the NFL, it seems. There's a game this Sunday between Jacksonville Jaguars and Dallas Cowboys at Wembley, 3rd NFL match of the year to be played there. And England boss Roy Hodgson, he is not happy. He's
can't really blame him though.
No, can't really blame him.
No, you can understand the FA wanting to make money, but you've got to time these things better.
Well, the game this Sunday, the NFL game, is coming 6 days before England play Slovenia in the Euro 2016 qualifier at Wembley. And also, next year in October, there is an NFL game just 5 days before England play 2016 qualifier at Wembley. So it's disappointing, really, that for the players, if anything, to know that they're second choice by their own FA.
You've also got to take into account the Rugby World Cup happening next year. Wembley has got a few of the games there. Yeah, two games as well as the Rugby League Challenge Cup. So it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, it's definitely got a busy few years coming up.
Well, I think I remember reading because there was talks of England touring the country, but it's come up that the FA are so in debt after building new Wembley. England are going to have to stay permanently home for the next probably 5 to 7 years in order to pay off building new Wembley.
Well, and to be honest, what's wrong with that? That's what the stadium's built for the national side. So
But I think the argument is Roy Hodgson says he wants to make it more accessible for fans because not everyone so
that's right.
England fans in Newcastle can't always travel down to London.
Do you guys think that's anything to do with the fact that the players are still wary of playing at Wembley? Or is that a whole can of worms?
That's just a whole other kettle of fish.
Yeah, I mean, it's you just don't know with England anymore.
Hopefully that does change, but
yeah.
You've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, how long can you keep making excuses for?
The thing is, the NFL games that won't keep stopping because the Jacksonville Jaguars, whose owner is also the Fulham owner, have agreed to play a few home games in London until 2016. And the three main 2015 games currently planned are the New York Jets v Miami in October, Buffalo v Jacksonville also in October, and then Detroit and Kansas in just the start of November. So there's 3 quick games and quick concessions all around the Rugby World Cup, the England games as well. So the NFL, the Wembley pitch is going to be torn to shreds.
See, the thing is, it's also very much a sport versus sport context.
Well, just go back to the 80s, how the pitches were back then.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we did so well in the 80s. Didn't qualify for anything in the 70s even.
Scotland
anyway,
did all right.
Yeah, Scotland.
Because we all want that to happen.
True, moving on.
The England squad was announced for the game against Slovenia, and there is 5 noticeable names that have been in there. First, we'll start with Theo Walcott, back from injury, in the squad.
Brilliant news.
It's good that he's back in it, but I'm a bit surprised. He's only played something like 20 minutes since February.
I think he's a bit like...
It's more like an advertisement purposes, I feel, at the moment. I don't think he's quite ready. He'll probably feature for the last 10 minutes against the friendly.
Arsene Wenger said he hopes Roy Hodgson starts Walcott because he needs games.
Yeah,
that's what he needs at this moment. He does
need games, but I don't think starting him against Slovenia is going to be helpful. Start him in the friendly against Scotland.
Yeah, it's like the players get in the squad because they deserve it. He hasn't been playing. Why does he deserve it?
No, but he's also a very good player. He's very, very much capable.
And he's also done a lot for England in the past.
He can change a game on his own.
I think we had this argument with Townsend because before he got called up in the last England squad, he played something like 30 minutes.
And in fairness, Townsend played and scored. For
in
England.
fairness,
so
he did.
I know it was only San Marino, but
it's a goal's a goal.
Goal's a goal.
Doesn't matter international football.
Also, Stuart Downing returned to the England squad after a long absence. Yeah. Good form at West Ham. Our only issue here is, will he be playing in his preferred position?
I don't think he even knows what his preferred position is anymore.
Does anyone know his preferred position?
He's always been...
Sam Allardyce seems to.
Sam Allardyce does.
Yeah, he's playing well there, regardless of where he wants to play. He's playing very, very well. He's definitely a man banging form.
Yeah.
Without him, West Ham wouldn't have got the points they have so far this season. He's been a big asset.
He's been an important player.
Since Beckham, I say Downing's probably one of our best crossers of the ball.
We got to think James Milner's done well at Man City.
Milner has done well as well, and he's also
Milner's not as good as a crosser as Downing.
He's not a winger, really.
As a Villa fan, I've been quite lucky to see them both in the same squad on either end. Downing is more lethal.
Downing can hurt you. Milner's just a very good player to soak up pressure.
I mean, Downing's no Aidan Robertson at Hull, who can put it on a sixpence for you, just like there's an old saying. But Michael Carrick as well, also in the England squad. Again, just like Walcott, that's more of a loyalty thing.
It is good to see him back in there, though.
Yeah, it is good, yes.
He's definitely capable of putting in big performances for England.
Wasn't it so like only 3 years ago he was nominated for the Player of the Year award?
Yeah, he was like England's Fans Player of the Year like 3 years ago.
2 seasons ago, I think he was the best English player in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. So it's good to see him back. No Fabian Delph in the midfield. Do you think that's anything to do with why Carrick's been?
Maybe, yeah.
I think it's that, and also due to Aston Villa's recent form. They haven't won a game in 6.
Well, yeah, but that's Delph hasn't played in 4.
But still, you still got to think recent form. He hasn't played in those 4, so how does Roy Hodgson knows he's match fit?
Yeah. No, I know. This is what I'm saying.
And the 2 he did play in, I'm sorry to say, but he wasn't really that influential.
No, yeah, you're right. So Delph's exclusion could be Carrick's gain with his inclusion. Also, Nathaniel Klein, he's back in the England squads again.
Been very,
although
very
he didn't play last time. He's in. Glenn Johnson is fit.
Yeah, but Liverpool have been terrible in defence this season. Nathaniel Klein's has been they've got the best defence in Europe.
Yeah, but by this point now, Glenn Johnson's like an established international defender. probably not playing, generally speaking, as well as he should for Liverpool whenever he's played. But
Liverpool aren't just playing well. Full stop.
He's still he's a good, solid option at right back. He can attack and he can defend.
But also you add to that, we've been clamouring for years that a manager put the young blood in.
Now he finally is.
He's doing it.
Good lad.
The one thing I worry about for Klein or Callum Chambers in particular, when Kyle Walker returns and gets some games under his belt, do you think can you not see him walking straight back into that?
It's not just Walker, it's Carl Norton as well. I know he had a bit of an issue with the was it him who had the issue with the balloons, or was it the other one? Because one of them had an issue with balloons.
I think it was Norton. Yeah.
I think it was Norton who had an issue with balloons. Yeah, he's had an issue. But if he starts getting back in as well, and he puts in the performances that he can actually perform, I can see him also earning his place back.
Yeah, we're definitely not short of options in that position. We might not all necessarily be world-class players, but we've got
depth.
We've got depth. We've got decent players to play in that spot.
Because normally when like John Terry and Ashley Cole are injured, we're just there like, okay, midfielder, can you go in defence?
One player we haven't mentioned just yet is the big inclusion in the squad, Saido Berahino. What do you guys think? Is he England worthy? Or
he's deserved it. He's the Premier League third top scorer behind Diego Costa and Sergio Aguero, and for the under-21s he's played 13 times and scored 10.
Well, I heard this morning, I read an article that apparently Manchester United and Spurs want to try and sign him next summer, but I think it would suit Spurs more than it would suit Man United, because Man United need a strong man, whereas they
with United right now, I don't see how he could sort of fit in. Van Persie, I think personally, is starting to sort of he's losing it.
Percy's losing it.
Yeah, he plays for Man United. Wouldn't you lose your mind as well?
I get that a lot these days.
I mean, to even have that kind of association with those clubs is a massive bonus.
You can see why he deserves it based on
if he goes to Tottenham, they will have the current England under-21 strike force, and
can you imagine
England lineup with Harry Kane and
Saido Berahino? That would be an unreal.
And you've got to think also Eric Lamela will be just behind him. Yeah. That front three would be epic.
Eriksen as well.
And Eriksen.
Well, how come Harry Kane hasn't got a call up? He's been brilliant this month.
He's not starting in the Premier League. That's the only issue. Because Pochettino's not starting him. Hodgson only sees him as an impact player.
I think what's important to note is that Hodgson said this in his press conference. Berahino would have been in the last England squad, but England under-21s had 2 crunch qualifying games. So he included him in the under-21 squad to get them through, and he said the under-21s have only got a friendly. Why waste the opportunity to gain some international level football?
Yeah.
So that's interesting to note that even if Sturridge, for example, he wasn't injured, Berahino would have been in the England squad. Does that mean that a Ricky Lambert wouldn't have been? Or a Danny Welbeck or a...
Yeah, who would you drop? I mean,
you don't need more than 5 strikers when you play one up front.
Lambert's not really getting minutes at the moment for...
Barini's ahead of him at Liverpool.
But Lambert is that one player that if you're losing a game, you can throw on to create.
See, I think Lambert's inclusion is great because, like you said, he's the one player you could bring on, and if you've got Stuart Down and whipping in the ball, he's the perfect target.
But what you got to think is that he's sitting on the bench all that time. He's not match fit. He's not running. He's not getting the run around time.
Well, I know he has been playing in the reserves.
He's still getting matches. It might not necessarily be at the highest levels, but
but that's what I mean.
He's getting games.
Going from reserve to international was a big step. So
I think what's interesting now on that Lambert subject, the fact that he's the age that he is and he's played for a few clubs, makes him, and Liverpool, his boyhood club, makes him okay to sit on the bench, because if he was 25 and raring to go, he would not be happy sitting on the bench.
That's useful though sometimes, I think.
You need
if you've got a player who's perfectly happy to sit on the bench, obviously if you say
you need
you're
someone like an old hand just there, just in case.
And that kind of experience as well. If you've got a Barini, a Balotelli, someone who's younger, less experienced, that is a fantastic addition to make.
Well, as I've mentioned, under-21s also have a friendly, but they have the draw for the under-21s European Championships for next summer has been announced, and England have got a tough-looking draw. To me, it looks very tough. They have Italy, Portugal, and Sweden in their group. I mean, I know it's a lot different in the under-21s category of the top teams. If that was the 2016 Euros, you'd be like, can we not go? Or but yeah, under-21s have won 9 out of 10 games to top their qualifying group and defeated Croatia in the playoff last month, as we mentioned.
Sweden have got a good squad as well.
Sweden have got a good squad.
The Italy young squad is actually amazing.
Yeah, they've got some. Yeah.
Portugal might just be the one weak in that group. One weakness. What do you guys think about Southgate and the job that he's been doing?
He's done brilliantly. You can't deny it. He's turned it around, because at the end of Stuart Pearce's time, it was slowly starting to taper off. We were still playing well. We still had a very, very good squad, but it was tapering off, and now we've come straight back into it again.
But you did think, like, after Stuart Pearce, who's going to come in? We need someone good that has managed these kind of players. And Southgate, it did seem interesting at first, but now that's a great option.
Yeah, I've had a look at our group and see what it is. Italy are 5-time winners of the competition and were runners-up when it was last hosted in Israel when they lost to Spain. Portugal and Sweden are the two other teams that have been in the final, but they've also lost it. We've won it twice, but we won it 30 years ago was the last time we won it. Because the under-21 tournament the under-21 tournament is weird. It happens every 2 years.
And we haven't won it in 30 years.
We haven't won it in 15.
It's strange though. We still do very well in these sort of tournaments at youth level.
Well, we got to the final in 2009.
It makes you wonder
Germany.
what's going wrong between.
That 2009 Germany squad pretty much won the World Cup this year.
What's interesting to note on that level, England's friendly this month is against Portugal at Turf Moor.
That's probably now.
You would not see that happen in international games, though, would you? You wouldn't see that.
No.
That's a much bigger game now than it was before.
They play on the 13th.
13th November at Turf Moor. I'm sure anybody who's listening from near Turf Moor and near Burnley, the tickets will be pretty cheap for England under 21 games. Get yourself down there.
Go see the England squad in the next 10 years.
Definitely worth it.
Maybe.
Unless
so that's England out the way. We will have a full preview of the England friendlies and any other international games on next week's show, on next week's podcast. So we're not going to go into it too much. We just wanted to mention the squad. So now we head into the club matters, the gritty stuff, the more important stuff, and we'll start with Man City. Start with the champions. After a disappointing loss against CSKA Moscow on Wednesday, fair to say it's very disappointing. 2 men sent off. One of them was Yaya Toure, and there were big rumours coming out today and yesterday that City might let him go in January.
But now they're denying it, aren't they?
Pellegrini said it's never crossed his mind, but somebody said something to make the rumours there.
Yeah, these don't just appear. It doesn't happen like that.
It's Cakegate all over again.
Cakegate. Anyway, what do you guys think? Yaya Toure, has he got enough left in the tank to really come back at City?
He hasn't really impressed me this season. Yes, he's had a few good moments.
You do still see the odd flash, definitely.
Compared to last season, he's not as influential in Man City's game.
Do you think half of that is because, let's be honest, he's been running roughshod for City for 2-3 years now, since they first won their title, and he changed it by moving into the attacking midfield. No one's been able to touch him. Do you think teams have finally understood how to defend against Yaya Toure?
I think it's that, and maybe his age as well. I
think a perfect example of controlling Yaya Toure was Nemanja Matic's Premier League debut second time round when Chelsea went to Etihad. Matic marked him constantly. Yaya Toure had very little to do in that game because of Matic.
He's been fantastic, by the way. Matic, he's brilliant.
Well, he's a great player, Yaya Toure. In the Premier League, he's one of the players that he can still have a bad game and get a goal that wins the team a game. In the Champions League, he won't do it. He won't, and there's perfect reason for it, because everyone that's got in the Champions League are a good side. They're a side you don't mess with.
I mean, even CSKA Moscow.
It's a lack of experience for the club for the team as a unit. Yeah. Like, every one of those players, Aguero's been in there before.
I was going to say, so I mean, you say team as a unit. The manager has managed in Champions League. You've got Toure, won the Champions League at Barcelona. You've got
Sergio
Aguero played with Atletico. David Silva's played in it with Valencia. You've got even Vincent Kompany.
Is it Navas?
Navas has played.
Yeah, Navas played with Malaga.
Dzeko's played. Jovetic has played.
Yeah.
All their players are top players that should be able to handle it. That's hard. That was half the problem on Wednesday. They couldn't. Yes, they made a couple of mistakes to concede goals. Yeah. But the behaviour of some of them, like Yaya Toure, for example, the behaviour was ridiculous.
The thing is, we're talking about Yaya Toure like this. He's still got nominated for the FIFA Ballon d'Or.
I think that's half of last season, though.
It still counts as half of last season, yes, but he still shows he's putting enough of a good this season that he could still be nominated.
Well, he may be nominated, but let's be honest, I may as well be nominated. I've got just as much chance of winning it with Ronaldo in there.
A lot of that's going to come down to those little moments as well, though, isn't it? A lot of that's going to come down to those little moments.
Yeah, little moments.
So,
like every time Villa lose.
Those aren't little moments. Those are like everyday things. Speaking of losing,
Manchester United.
There we go.
Graham, the resident Man United fan now. It's nice actually to have someone on this podcast that's supporting a smaller team like myself. As we know, United used to be a bigger team, but Van Gaal reckons it's going to take 3 years for the club to reach their full potential again. What you got? We'll start with Graham.
Oh, where do I begin?
Let's start with the defence.
Let's see. We've got 2 decent centre-backs in McNair and Blackett. I genuinely think they could be decent Premier League players without being... Could. But at the moment, they've got pretty much no experience.
On the talk of Paddy McNair, though, he's been called up for the Northern Ireland squad.
That's nice for him, but I want points. I don't want players playing for international squad. If he gets injured, but the
thing is, in the Northern Ireland squad, what better way to get experience is in the National League? International League.
True.
An important thing for the 2 young centre-backs, Blackett and McNair, as you say, they haven't got that real defensive leader that can train them properly. When Vidic and Ferdinand was there, they were bringing Evans and Smalling through. Now Evans and Smalling and Phil Jones are the experienced.
When Chris Smalling is your experienced centre-back, there is something sorely wrong.
He didn't look experienced against Manchester City, though, did he?
He's never looked experienced. He's just not very good. I want him to be good. I want him to do well.
My friend summed up Chris Smalling brilliantly. He's like, Chris Smalling is the best player ever when he played against Holden and he knocked himself out, so he had to be taken off.
That was the only good thing he's ever done.
What do you think about Marcos Rojo, speaking of the defence? Good signing?
He seems like a decent enough player.
Hasn't he just dislocated his shoulder?
Yeah, he's out for 6 weeks.
Things get better.
Could have been 12, but we didn't have to. He didn't have to have any surgery.
Oh well, that's something.
That's good.
Things
are turning up for United.
Finally getting a bit of luck.
Isn't it just weird how the money with their defences seems to go? Yeah.
I mean, saying that, in fairness, yes, it's their worst start since 1986 to a league
Some
campaign.
of the performances. I mean, even the Leicester game, it was a terrible result at the end of it.
But they played well.
For the majority of
60 minutes,
we were brilliant. That was the best I've seen.
Every time I've saw United play, I've been impressed with their performances and their passing. There's just a defensive mistake that's cost them. Against Chelsea, yes, Chelsea were obviously the better side.
Definitely.
They had more class about them. But United played very well in the game itself. Against City, yes, City were obviously the better talented side together. But United played very well.
We could have hurt them. We were very unlucky.
You reduced City to having to wait an hour to score against a 10-man side.
When you talk about hurting players, do you mean like...
No, we could have hurt them as a team. We could have hurt them as a team. We were playing well. They were running scared for a good 20 minutes at least.
I mean, there's only one real game where you can say they didn't play well, and in fairness, it was their youth side against MK Dons.
Go on.
What do you guys think about Van Gaal saying it could take 3 years?
I'm going to be honest. It might take a bit longer
because if they're not going to create a defence in one summer. A solid defence in one summer. They're not.
Am I the only one thinking it's only the defence that costs them right now?
Yeah.
I think there's a more to it. The defence, yes, but recently there are rumours that De Gea may leave.
Which we'll speak about in a
which
little
will
while.
mean you're going to have to get another backup keeper. Defence, possibly keeper. Midfield, Juan Mata and Di Maria, yes. Everyone else in the midfield, I'm not scared of.
I don't know. I like Ander Herrera. I do like Ander Herrera.
You see that team sheet? It's like Juan Mata, a bit dodgy. Angel Di Maria, don't know how to pace him. Phil Jones in the midfield, yeah, I could take him.
Well, United are playing Rooney as a midfielder as well.
Yeah.
So I'd class him in that, and he'd hurt you. But I also think Fellaini, for example, yes, he's been a running joke for everyone for 2 years, but he played really well.
He played well against Chelsea. I'll be the first to admit.
Played well against West Brom when he came on.
He's
played well against
capable of
City.
But it's for consistency, and it's the same throughout the entire team.
It took him over a year to be an influential Man United player. When he was bought for something like 30 million, you were expecting someone to be like that, but he took so long.
It was the same with Berbatov as well, though. He took a little while to sort of fully get going, and then he was patchy.
Yeah, but Berbatov has a really good attitude.
What do you think about Falcao?
Has he scored yet?
Yeah, he scored against Everton. Yeah, Everton.
I just don't know of him so far.
At least he's only on loan.
Fully well, you know that he's one of the best strikers in Europe, and he's capable of changing it, just like that. It can just happen.
I still remember Falcao absolutely tearing Chelsea apart in the first half of the Super Cup of 2012.
That's what he's capable of.
He tore us apart single-handedly in 20 minutes.
I do think every time I saw him, he's shown flashes of brilliance. I just think half of it is he's not being played in his preferred position because he's often out on the wing. I think when Van Gaal stops depending on Van Persie, Falcao will step up.
There's got to come a line with Van Persie, so at some point soon. He's not playing well.
It could be soon. It will be soon.
I mean,
wouldn't surprise me if it was this weekend.
I'd prefer a Rooney on the wing and Falcao up front than Falcao
definitely
on the wing and Van Persie.
Rooney's he's a decent enough winger. He can get back and defend.
Because doesn't Rooney take your corners? When it's not Di Maria.
Does.
When it's not Di Maria, it's Rooney.
You've got Rooney or Di Maria.
Rooney's the captain. On that as well, what do you think about Rooney as a captain?
I think he's a decent captain, actually. It's obviously not worked out so well so far, but
that's not entirely
he's a big player. He's a big player. People respect him for what he's done, for what he's capable of, and I think that he's loud. He gets his point across, and he's not afraid to sort of shout at people and say, "You need to do better," in whatever words he chooses to use.
Yeah.
So that's Man United spoke about. What do you think about West Ham? We're going to need to move on to another United because it's been announced today that Sam Allardyce and A.F.C. have won the Barclays Premier League Manager of the Month and Player of the Month respectively for October.
Yeah, they deserve it. I mean, what Sam Allardyce has done with that team is absolutely brilliant. Compared to last season, they're much more entertaining to watch. How they ripped City apart when they beat them. No one expected it, and they've done it.
Here's the basic rundown of West Ham's month. Played against QPR, Burnley and Manchester City, won all three. Diafra Sakho, who's player of the month, has scored in all three of the victories and has 6 goals from 6 starts. West Ham are currently 5th in the table, level with Arsenal. That is no easy feat.
No.
I hate to burst their bubble. If you see what I did there.
I hate that song.
But I'm pretty confident I'll be on the losing side this weekend.
Who are they playing?
Who do you think?
The mighty Aston Villa.
Without Benteke, you haven't got a chance.
Yeah, fair enough. What do you guys think about Teddy Sheringham as an attacking coach? Can you see the differences?
Well, yeah, they're scoring.
Well, there's that as well. But is that down to their new signings or the new tactics?
I think it's down to how they're working. But I definitely think that when you've got a player like Teddy Sheringham, who maybe never was like a top striker, he was still a very good striker. He knows what he's talking about. He's got a lot of experience to draw on. I don't think it can ever hurt to have a player like that as a coach. Well,
Andy Carroll might actually play in the game against Villa this weekend. He's recently engaged to a
Towie model.
I was going to say reality TV, but yeah, not much. To a TV person. Yeah. Well, anyway, Allardyce thinks romance for players is good for their performance. Sir Alex Ferguson was big on this. He wanted his players to be married and settled down. And
I can only imagine that it's good for morale. you'd be happier if you were happy at home.
Well, not unless you've got that one player that's a bit of a Ronaldo, you know. So on one side you've got West Ham with Sam Allardyce doing so well. On the other side, and I don't really want to go into this, but we've got Paul Lambert with the Villa side that aren't doing so well. West Ham lost 8 of their final 11 matches last season. Villa are on a similar sort of form. Lost their last 6, as we've said.
If I was a Villa fan, I would be beginning to worry a little bit.
Well, I mean,
if Lambert's basically said, if Allardyce can do it, I can do it.
Well, that's what Lambert said. I mean, at the start of the season, on the big league prediction thing we did, I put Villa down. Yeah, I genuinely did, being honest. And then we started the season well. I was like, what?
Then you beat Liverpool.
We beat Liverpool, you know. And then I thought maybe not. We can do well. And now we've gone on a 6-game losing streak.
Isn't it funny that since you played Liverpool, both of you have been really poor?
It's just Aston Villa. This is what they do to clubs.
no, this is what Aston Villa does to fans. They
give them false hope. Oh, we
can
stay up.
It's false hope. It feels like it's a roller coaster. It really is.
Can we open the versus Tottenham match and see what your opinions are on the refereeing?
I don't know, because, for example, the red card. It's a red card. Yeah. You can't argue it. Yes, he doesn't really hurt him. You know what I mean? It's hardly a slap, but it's still a slap.
But would you argue that Soldado should have been sent off as well?
He
went absolutely mental.
I wouldn't personally say sending off. I would have thought...
It depends if he was on a booking or not at the time.
Definitely a booking, but there's got to be some kind of...
The referee's gone blind. There's no Tottenham player there, and every Aston Villa player is...
It's tunnel vision.
I know. I understand what you're saying.
The thing is, Soldado went to Benteke and shoved him in the chest 5
That's a yellow card. Well, 5
times.
See, the thing I have to say to that, though, is Soldado being on the pitch wouldn't have changed the result anyway. Benteke getting sent off changed the result.
You also got to take into account what Harry Mason did. I think it was Mason anyway, who shouldered, when Benteke lost the ball, went into Benteke, shouldered him in the back, then put his head in Benteke's face, which caused him to push the head away.
Yeah.
Then straight away went to the 4th official and going straight red card, waving his hand around.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
And it's not nice to see. It's not.
It's not in the spirit of the game. That's not what you want to see.
It's not in the spirit of the game, and I hate to be the person that says this, though. But if you was him, how would you react? I'd want the player to be sent off because it's an advantage.
No, I'd want the player to sent off, but I would never physically go up to the referee and go, wave him off, there's actually a card. Because the referee's basically said, if you do that, I'm going to book you.
I think that's the difference between being a fan and being a player, though. When you're a fan, you're not looking at it, whereas as a player, you're there in the heat of a moment.
I hate to say it, but I probably would. I don't agree with it, but on the pitch, you're it's a different mentality. I'd probably have been the same because I want to win at all costs. And I don't care how I win. I'm not saying it's right, but you know what I mean. You can understand it. As I say, I don't think he did much wrong, Mason, in the way. Yes, he dropped his head in, but you see that all the time. Benteke shouldn't react the way he should. No. And now he's missing for 3 games.
There's no excuse for it.
Speaking of dropping heads, what's your view of the Hart incident in the Manchester derby?
That is a joke. That is an absolute joke.
Someone come up with the assumption that maybe the ref didn't see it, but I'm like, he's touching his head with his, so like, how do you would notice it still?
It is, but I think I don't think he means to headbutt the referee. I think it's more of a...
He led with his head. What are you going to do with him?
I think
shake his hand first. I'm going to put my head there.
Hart's a tall player, and the referee was quite smart. I think he was trying to get his attention, and the ref turned around at the wrong time and was just whoa.
I personally think he's too close for it to be something like that.
I still think it's too close.
He's there in his personal space. Like, you don't just get up into somebody's face and then stick your face right in there. It's like aside from it looking weird, it's aggressive. It's not what you want to see.
Yeah, that's
not from a professional.
I can't argue with that. Can't argue with that.
Whether he plays for City or not, that's not what you want to see from an international football.
Well, we won't go into predictions for the Villa West Ham game yet because we're going to move on to predictions in a little while.
That'll be brutal.
That will be brutal. We will, before we go to predictions, we want to talk about the gossip column. which isn't something we do every week, but it's something we want to start doing. Gossip column. This is the gossip column for Friday, the 7th of November, the day of filming at the moment. So if you're listening any other day, this is, just so you know, it's for that day. We could be completely wrong, you know what I mean, or it could all just go exactly the way we're saying here. The Times, we'll start with the Times. They've reported this morning that Man City set to sell Yaya Toure, as we've mentioned, next summer apparently, and they're going to replace him with either Juve's Paul Pogba or Everton's Ross Barkley. What do you guys think? Ross Barkley, is he City?
I would say Pogba over.
I think it would be a great kick in the teeth if Man City signed Pogba.
It would be a
for Man United.
It would be a huge. It would be a huge slap in the face for every United fan.
Pogba is one mistake that Fergie
he's
really
the one
made
that got
in his latter years.
You look at this squad right now that we've got. He is tailor made for it.
Because Fergie had to choose between Fabio in midfield or Pogba, and he chose Fabio. And Pogba said, "If you're selecting him, I might as well just leave." And now Fabio's playing for Cardiff. And Pogba,
at the end of the day, though, what you've got to remember is that Alex Ferguson is there, he's seeing what he has, and he's got to choose one or the other. At the end of the day, what happens if he chose Pogba? Pogba's bad, and then Fabio does well.
Yeah. With hindsight, it's easy to say it's a mistake.
Yeah,
but
at the end of the day, it's just come off badly. So.
Pogba, even back then, they were saying they were expecting him to be something special. Maybe not.
Because even before he left Man United, there were talks of Chelsea putting in like an audacious £30 million bid for Pogba. And it's like, this kid's like 12.
He's so good.
He's
so good. Let's go
Arsene Wenger.
Do a Wenger. He's 12. Sign him.
I don't think Barkley would fit in with City's play.
No, I don't.
Because he is someone that picks the ball up and takes on three guys.
I do think he would be a good enough player, but like you said, I'm not 100% convinced he would fit in.
We mentioned about Berahino earlier and the size surrounding him, so we're gonna skip past that.
I just read something. Arsene Wenger is considering a move for Manchester United defender Chris Smalling.
£10 million. Please take him, Wenger. I'm begging you.
If that doesn't work, he's also lined up Dutch duo Virgil van Dijk of Celtic or Aston Villa's captain
Hands
Ron
off.
Vlaar.
Hands off.
Van Dijk is a good player.
Van Dijk
is better than Celtic.
The fact that he's at Celtic goes against him, though.
Definitely.
As horrible as that sounds.
It was the same for Forster as well, though.
Forster, Gary Hooper.
Grant Holt.
Even Henrik Larsson, as good as he was, I get the feeling he could have moved pretty much wherever he wanted from there.
Well, Celtic were a better side then. They got to the UEFA Cup final. Now they're like, for example, if they were an English side, they'd be in the FA Cup first round.
Yeah.
Right now. You know what I mean?
Playing Southend.
No. They've gone through the qualifying. They'd have been first qualifying round, second qualifying round. You know what I mean? They'd travel to Eastleigh as underdogs. I really don't like Scottish football.
Okay.
So yeah, I have got to say, Wenger, if you're listening, hands off Ron Vlaar. He's our man. He's our captain.
Put your hands all over Chris Smalling, please. I'm begging you.
I'm not sure Chris Smalling will be pleased with that.
That is very worrying.
Speaking of Villa, and this is more bad news for me, as always, Fabian Delph's told Villa, apparently, this is what the Daily Telegraph saying, told Villa that he has no plans to sign a new contract and he's set to leave the club in the summer. Liverpool, Everton and Spurs all interested. Please be lying, Telegraph.
He would be very good for Everton. I don't think he'd get much time at Liverpool.
No, he wouldn't.
He'll be good at Everton.
I think he'd be good at Spurs with Eriksen. He's better than Dembele. He's better than a lot of the players in the midfield. To be honest, the fact that they're bringing in Ryan Mason
says it all.
To be fair, he's done quite well.
Yeah,
every time I've seen him, he's not necessarily been one of the best on the field, but he's
done quite well.
In a good performance.
Yeah. I'd be disappointed if Delph leaves because in Benteke's absence, he's grown to be our best player.
He's your engine.
He's the engine, and it says it all. He's been out a couple of games, and we've missed him. Really missed him. So I'd be very disappointed. The Express are reporting that Fiorentina are going to have a loan suit for Theo Walcott. They already have Michael Richards. They're going for the English contingent.
Cannot see it.
Yeah, I have a feeling that one's not going to come off personally, but
It even says shock loan sweep, but if he goes, he goes. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
I can see Walcott struggling a bit more now they've got Sanchez.
Yes.
Because you've also got Santi Cazorla and all these other very good players.
You've got to think, the Arsenal squad is, the front four is like Ramsey, Özil, Sanchez and then Welbeck. Where does Walcott fit?
Not only Walcott, where does Giroud fit?
Well, he's leaving in January.
That's a real shame because start the season,
he's leaving.
Start the season, Giroud was brilliant.
Yeah, he was great.
And he works really well with Sanchez, so I'll be interested to see where that goes. Daddy Star is saying Arsenal, Liverpool and Spurs are continuing to monitor 23-year-old Bayern Munich winger Xherdan Shaqiri, unhappy at not being a regular. He could be brilliant for Liverpool.
You can understand that. He'd be a brilliant sign for pretty much any club in the
thing is, if he goes to Tottenham or Arsenal, or even Liverpool, it'll be the first time he hasn't won the league in the season. He's won the league in every club season he's been at.
Or so you think. Let's find out. If he wants to join Villa, he can, by all means, you know.
You're not going to win the league with just Xherdan Shaqiri.
I don't know. Him and Christian Benteke.
Yeah. Fabian Delph. Oh, damn it, Delph.
You've got Stuart Downing putting the ball in the box.
Can you imagine that swap? Fabian Delph out, Xherdan Shaqiri in. You'll be laughing.
I do like Delph, though.
You're saying Delph over Shaqiri?
No. Interesting one, which we did mention earlier. It looks like it could happen. Real Madrid line up a move for Man United keeper David De Gea, and are confident of landing him, especially if Man United failed to qualify for the Champions League. I'm not going to go into the will United qualify for the Champions League just yet, because I know we're going to be talking for a long while on that. But what do you think, De Gea?
I can only see De Gea leaving if Casillas retires. He won't go to sit on the bench.
No, why would you?
But I think they're bringing him in ahead of Casillas, and Casillas will be sitting on the bench. Because Casillas hasn't been his best.
He's still the club captain, though.
They've still got a lot of goalkeepers over there already. They only just brought in Keylor Navas.
Keylor Navas, and they've got also Stecklenburg, I think, if I'm right.
No,
that's Barcelona.
No, Barcelona got Sturgergen.
Yeah, to Sturgeon,
yeah.
I keep saying he's really good and doesn't do very well for me on FIFA.
We can have another talk just about him.
Interesting on United and Real Madrid. United's January move for Real Madrid's midfielder. Well, it says left-sided midfielder, more of a left-back. Fabio Contrao looks in doubt after Bayern Munich. David Alaba, who was a target for Real Madrid, picked up a long-term injury during the win over Roma on Wednesday. I don't think he'd fit.
Contrao's not good enough for Man United.
If you got Luke Shaw, you don't need.
Haven't United been after Contrao for like the last 3 windows?
A very long time. But he would have been a good backup for Evra because he's a slightly tougher player. But him and Luke Shaw are pretty much the same kind of player. Yeah. It'd just be,
if it doesn't work with one, it's not going to work with the other, really.
Precisely.
Man City will attempt to lure Bayern Munich manager Pep Guardiola today. He had to replace Manuel Pellegrini if the club's performed.
Why go to a club?
Why go to City?
So much worse.
Why go to City? There are clubs that do. Go to Chelsea.
Money.
Chelsea
I don't think Guardiola will go to City just for the fact of, and this is going to sound really harsh. Yes, Guardiola's done very successfully, but he's walked into jobs where there's been a great side already. Yeah. He hasn't built any of his squads. Definitely. He walked into the Barcelona job with Messi on form, Xavi on form, Iniesta on form. Walked into the Bayern job with Robben. Yes, they've signed Lewandowski and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, Guardiola.
Most of the players have been there already. So.
But the Bayern squad he adopted had just won the treble.
All he ever seems to do is kind of adapt the team a bit more than anything. Kind of make it suit how he thinks that team should play.
I don't think City should go for Guardiola. I don't rate him personally, just because, as we've mentioned, when he builds a squad like Mourinho, for example, has Fergie was always great at it. Ancelotti is a good manager at it. Wenger, of course, yeah. Even Brendan Rodgers built a decent squad at Liverpool.
Last season was that was pretty much his own squad.
Yeah. So I wouldn't go for Guardiola myself. The problem is who out there can really do the City. I think Pellegrini's a good manager.
Yeah, he's a very good manager. But I think if he doesn't win something this year, something big, then I think he could well go.
If they fail in Europe and they fail in the league, he's gone. He's gone. We mentioned Johnson may retire from international football, so we won't speak about that, Glenn Johnson. On getting the sack, Brendan Rodgers admits he could get the sack if he gets too many big calls wrong at Anfield.
He's just saying what everyone already knows. It's the same for any football manager.
Yeah, But do you really think he'll get a sack?
No. I cannot see them sacking him.
If they, I don't know, because he's got like barely any time left on his contract at the moment. I think he's literally, after this season, they've got to sign a new contract.
Okay, so if you're in charge of Liverpool and you decide you want to get rid of Rodgers, who would you bring in place of him?
Oh yeah, I know that, but like...
there's no one at a level that they can get who would be willing to go, who I can think of who could do a good enough job with the squad. But Brendan Rodgers is the
Brendan Rodgers and Roberto Martinez are the best young managers in the Premier League.
So good.
This is the one that I wish we had a webcam in here so we could see Matt Thowney's face when this gets talked about.
Can I be the one to tell him?
Yeah,
even though I'm also Jose Mourinho could face a fresh backlash from Chelsea fans after hailing QPR's amazing, quotation marks there, supporters day after he complained about the lack of atmosphere at Stamford Bridge, according to The Sun.
Yeah, and? What's your point? I complained about the way they play, not the fans.
For what it's worth, QPR fans, well, like we were saying...
We were saying on the way here that all away fans...
Away fans are nutters. They are fantastic fans.
I thought you was going to bring up something else.
Away fans are the most passionate fans the club have because they travel the length and breadth of the country to see their club. I can understand,
especially those Sunderland fans.
Sunderland fans are probably the best.
It's nice to finally see managers and players and things like that really going out of the way to say, instead of just the usual platitudes when you win about, the fans were great today. It's nice to see somebody going out of their way to talk about a rival club.
Thing is,
it's fans.
The thing with Mourinho, he got a backlash when he said the lack of atmosphere at Stamford Bridge.
He was right.
He's getting right, but one of the few Chelsea fans has taken to Twitter and Instagram. One of them personally messaged John Terry and had a 30-minute phone call with John Terry about the whole debacle, and he basically broke it down as this: the reason why Chelsea fans aren't going, the lack of atmosphere, is because it's now a tourist item. Most of the big London clubs are now tourist locations to people who don't know much about the club and therefore not going to see. Only those that can go now, due to the price ticket range, are the only ones that can afford it, and they're not necessarily always the fans. Those have been going for 30, 40 odd years, have been priced out due to the football club rising up, and due to the influx of... They need the money for the big name players to lease the stadium and to take part in all the tournaments. So
that's the price of success, though.
That is the price of success, but you're not just getting it. Arsenal had... Bayern Munich's season ticket is equivalent of £200. Yeah. Arsenal's is almost 2,000.
It is a problem. It also brings up the argument of whether safe standing should be brought back for the atmosphere. We're not going to go into that. That's an argument for another day because time is against us. So we're not going to go into that. Let's not go into that. We will move on to predictions because we've got around 10-15 minutes left, so it's perfect for predictions. 10 minutes left. And it's a big game to start with on Saturday lunchtime. Liverpool at home, as it's going to be a great atmosphere at Anfield, you expect.
Yeah, because the away fans are going to be amazing.
They, if you hadn't already heard or noticed, they face Chelsea on BT Sport 12:45. It's going to be a huge game.
I see. We were the ones that pretty much lost Liverpool their league last season. Yes, they drew to Crystal Palace the week.
You started the back.
We started
the rot because of Chelsea,
because of the Gerrard slip. Sorry, he literally slipped up on the league.
Oh, really?
Why would you go there?
I'm sorry.
You are so lucky Stuart's not here.
Thank goodness there isn't a phone.
I was just thinking, just for that moment, just be like, Stuart.
Hey, Stuart.
Have you heard what Master said?
He'll hear this tomorrow, and I'll be getting a Facebook message.
It's a chance for them to get revenge against us, because that's what probably they're thinking. Go out there, get revenge against the team that lost us the title. But how are they going to get the goals? They got the strikers, and none of them.
Well, what's interesting to know is, yes, Liverpool played a inexperienced squad against Rounded, and they did play well. Barini and whatnot played really well. Do you keep Barini in the squad, or do you bring Balotelli back?
Balotelli. Okay.
See, I think he's forced now to bring Balotelli back because that's why he played the inexperienced squad. So Balotelli has to come back, and if it doesn't work out and Balotelli still plays crap, Gerrard has a bad game.
Brendan Rodgers is going to look bad no matter what.
If Dayan Lovren has another bad game, it's lose-lose for Rodgers.
People reckon Kolo Touré will still keep his spot.
But again, that's what I'm saying. He rested Lovren for this game. Does he go against what he planned? Or?
Can you take somebody who played as well as Kolo Touré did? He had one of the top strikers in the world.
I mean, it's the only good game he's ever had for Liverpool.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
after that, can you take him out?
No, I agree with you. I'd keep Toure and Barini personally. But
and if Costa was to play as well, I don't think he will be.
Costa will tear Toure.
Costa's expected to start.
He's expected to start it. Well, then
he played the second half against Maribor. He's expected to start.
Costa and Benzema are fairly similar players, built on strength and stuff like that, and sort of close in finishing.
I just worry about Hazard and Kolo Toure.
I can see Hazard.
Yeah.
Absolute blinder.
So because we're not going to go into it too much, we're going to just go predictions. We'll start with Matt Thowney, a Chelsea fan.
2-0 Chelsea.
Why did I expect differently, Graham?
I'm going to say 3-0 to Chelsea.
Oh, nice.
That's the Man United fan in him.
That is a great
Death
way
to Liverpool.
Start his predictions. Matt Ty.
I'm going to go 2-0 Chelsea.
We're going Chelsea. Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea. I think they may just concede.
Well, last time you said it was a close game, it was with the Palace QPR result. You got that spot on.
Now, if there was a webcam in here, you'd see my smug little face.
Aston Villa.
Burnley Hull is the first name on our list. 3:00 games. It's not really a glamour time.
It's not a big game, but I can see Burnley getting blown away.
It's a big game for Burnley.
For Burnley, yeah, it's the kind of game that you could turn your season round on.
Yeah.
But for that, I
think every game from now on is for Burnley to turn the season around.
Trippier's got to start improving a bit. He's been decent, but he's a big player for them.
Yeah.
You can't just pin it all on Trippier. The whole Burnley squad needs to improve.
But the way they were playing in the Championship, a lot of it was coming through Trippier. The best of their player was him.
Season, so
but you can't just pin a whole side on Trippier.
No, definitely
you
not.
can't.
Don't know. Everyone's pinning Liverpool on Balotelli.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't pin that on Liverpool. It was them.
It
was them, not me. But I think with Burnley, you got to look at their squad. They've got decent players. Luke Djukovic, I can't ever pronounce his name. Danny Ings. Okay. Yeah, exactly. See, it's confusing. It's got like a Z in there. It's got a Z and a Q in there. But they should be doing better for the sort of players they've got, and it's a very good tight knit unit. Yeah, they're just falling apart.
Well, I think it's going to be hard for Burnley to get anything out of this game because they can't seem to score at the moment. But what you got to remember is that Hull aren't good away from home. When you look at the results getting away from home, they're not.
Yeah, but Burnley are starting to remind me more and more of a better version of United defending.
Yeah, but I said West Brom. I said West Brom aren't good at home yet. They beat Leicester.
All right, we'll go predictions. Matt Thowney.
1-1.
You think Burnley will score?
2-0.
2.
2-0, not to Burnley.
2-0 Hull. I'm guessing you're going. Matt Ty?
1-0 Hull.
I think this is the result Burnley need. This is the game they want. Hull are not in good form. I want to go 2-0 Burnley. Come on, Burnley. Everyone hates you because they're in between. It's not your fault.
We love you, Burnley.
No, I just don't like Burnley because of one of the owners.
Yeah.
We have personal issues.
I'm not even going to ask. Man United Crystal Palace. Old Trafford.
Oh, we're going to get killed.
Is that Old Trafford?
Oh.
Marwan Shamak hat-trick.
No, in all honesty.
This is the game we have to win.
This is the game that they should be winning.
We have to win.
If you're going to finish top 4, then you have to win games like this.
These are the games we've got to start winning.
I think that on Palace's side of things, Neil Warnock has got to accept the fact that his team aren't doing good.
And it was a disappointing loss for them on Monday at Sunderland.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's got to start taking that fact that...
I don't like Neil Warnock. Every time he has a bad result, he just goes, the referee was on their side. It's like, you've got to take responsibility for your team.
It's not even that as well. He goes, my team, he always looks at the small facts, which in some ways is good, but it's not ripping into his players. He really...
maybe he rips into them in the dressing room.
Maybe it's a case of you don't take your...
No, but it doesn't seem like he is when they get the next game in.
I just don't know the fact he's always personally attacking referees. He's already had one ban already this season. He doesn't really need another one.
To stop it.
So, Matt Thowney.
4-0 Manchester United.
Yeah, I'm going to say 4-0. I'm going to say Di Maria man of the match.
That was a weird prediction.
It's accumulator.
So 4-0 Palace, yet Di Maria will still be the man of the match.
Yeah, he's going to score all 4.
Oh, goals.
So Graham goes 4-0 United. Matt Ty?
I reckon it will be 2-1 United.
I want to be in between, so I want to go 3-0 United. Yeah, why not?
As long as it's a win, then it's all fine.
Yeah,
But it won't be.
At St Mary's Stadium, the informed side of the Premier League, Southampton.
Well, they are a force.
Oh, so good. So good.
They-
Dixon Tadic.
How did... I know the goalkeeper was out the goal for Hull, but how did Wanyama score such a good goal? Victor Wanyama, who doesn't
It's
score.
nothing on Stilian Petrov.
Do you know what's depressing as well if you're faced in Southampton? Ronald Koeman reckons that Dixon Tadic can still get 20% better. How good he's been already. If he gets a fifth better, oh dear God.
And unfortunately for Nigel Pearson, Southampton face Leicester, who aren't in good form.
No.
Well,
I thought they would do better against West Brom.
But they didn't.
Nope.
But they brought up a good debate about Nigel Pearson saying, should Nigel Pearson come down from the stands?
No, that's what this is.
That's
what's worked for him.
that's if that's what's worked for him for 2 years, then why should he?
Why fix what's not broken?
Yeah, but this is the Premier League. If
Yeah,
he worked in the Championship, it's
You also think
Premier League,
Allardyce
it's
does it.
not.
Allardyce sits in the stands.
I don't think it's anything to do with that, because managers spend a whole week building up their training.
Yeah.
Especially Leicester. Leicester haven't played since Saturday, so they've had a whole week to prepare, right? If the players need the manager on the touchline to remind them of what they have to do, then they shouldn't be playing football professionally.
Yeah, that's true.
The reason I like the reasonings for sitting in the stands, you can see the whole pitch, see where you make mistakes, come down at half time, say these are the areas you're not performing in. He goes back up in the stands and then speaks through the
Yeah, I
changes.
was going to say he has got well, I'm guessing a phone walkie-talkie sort of thing with the assistant manager, so he's relaying it onto the pitch. I don't think it makes too much of a difference personally.
Yeah.
Will it make too much of a difference at St Mary's, Matt Thowney?
2-0 Saints.
That's quite good for Leicester. That is, I think.
I would probably go for 3-0 Saints.
It's going up.
3-0 Saints.
No, it's
I'm gonna go
8-0.
7.
3-2 Saints. I think Leicester can score.
FIFA apology rules.
I think Leicester can get a couple of goals. So I'm gonna go 3-2 Saints. Why not?
Yeah.
Want some goals? So we'll skip that one. QPR. Can we skip that one?
No, let's do.
No, it's
West Ham inform manager of the month and player of the month. West Ham side against a very lacklustre, lacking goals, lacking talent.
And even without,
Aston Villa.
even without Saka there, you've still got Valencia.
Yeah. And Valencia.
And if Valencia,
Really
he maybe hasn't scored quite as many as Matt
But he's-
Hurt, but he's
he's
He's also got
very,
taken
very good.
Stuart Downing as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah, but we've got Charles and Zogbia.
and they've got Kiai.
Well,
We're not going into this.
You've got Jack Grealish.
Jack Grealish is a player. He's a baller. Tell you.
well-
Tell you what, who I actually really rate from Aston Villa, Andy Vyman.
Yeah, he doesn't do enough for me.
He's not consistent enough, but when he plays well, you can see he's.
He always
he
puts
could
effort
probably
in,
go.
and he'll run up and down all the way. He doesn't score enough goals for me. So yeah, we'll do this quickly. Yeah, Matt Thowney.
1-0 West Ham.
Thank you.
I'd like to say 5-0 West Ham, but I'm just going to go for 2-0 to West Ham.
I'll take it.
I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham.
So have I got to do this with my head or my heart?
Do both.
I'm gonna go
Both aren't going to be right.
0-0.
0-0.
Yeah,
Now, which one's that, head or heart?
a bit of both actually.
Have we been watching the same Aston Villa?
Come on, 0-0. Come on. Why not?
If Andy Carroll's up front, then yeah.
Throw me a vote. Come on. Yeah, if Andy Carroll plays, yeah. Watch him score a hat trick. QPR Man City on Sky Sports. Sky Sports 1 Saturday Night Football 5:30 kickoff.
Ferdinand's still missing for QPR, but Vincent Kompany is now missing for Man City as well due to an injury.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned that actually. Vincent Kompany's. Not sure how long he'll be out for, but that could be a big miss.
The thing is,
Well,
against
calf injuries.
QPR, it's not going to be that big a miss.
But it's at QPR.
You
though,
say
which
that
is very
Charlie
weird.
Austin.
Charlie Austin's in form, but the rest of the
I
team's not good.
I saw an article the other day that was on about the England squad. If it was picked on form, and our front two were Berahino and Charlie Austin.
Oh, God.
Austin's in form, but the rest of the team generally isn't good enough. And there's too many holes defending.
Vargas is actually a pretty decent midfielder.
He's shown signs. but I don't.
He showed sign against Liverpool. I don't know if that's more a reflection on Liverpool.
We got moving in quickly. QPR Man City, Matt Thowney.
3-1 City.
Graham.
2-1 City.
2-0 City.
2-1 City.
That hurts very bad.
We have 3 1/2-1 kickoffs on Sunday. We have first Sunderland Everton.
Yeah, Sunderland Everton. That's a big game for Sunderland actually.
It's a big game for Everton as well. If they're expecting to stay up there for the
Everton are so close to getting into the next stage of the Europa League. I think they're like 2 points off.
I wonder whether Martinez has looked at the way the top 5 is going to be and the top 6, and he's not really expecting to be up there.
So do you think they're prioritising
their priorities? Yeah, because that's the way they'll be in the Europa League next season if they win it. I don't know whether that's the way they're thinking about it, but
isn't it this season that the Europa League changes, that the winners of the Europa League automatically get in the Champions League?
Well, there's even more of an incentive to go and win the competition.
Quick question is, who will Sunderland play in goal? Minone or
Pantilimon?
He's got to get a chance. He's got to.
Didn't Pantilimon play against Crystal Palace?
He played against Crystal Palace and they won. It could actually be a very tough game for Everton. They played last night, and they played a strong side last night to beat
Lille.
Beat Lille, yeah.
Well, they played really well.
Sunderland, they'll be buoyant. They beat Crystal Palace on Monday. They've had rest.
They need to get a streak going there.
That's the thing.
Maybe too much pressure for them.
We'll see. We'll have to see. Matt Thowney.
2-1 Everton.
1-0 Everton.
I'm going to go 2-2.
2-1 Sunderland. The Europa League hangover, I'm telling you. And speaking of the Europa League, Tottenham face Stoke at White Hart Lane at the same time. I do. That's right. Tottenham Stoke isn't on TV. The 2 Europa League games. Well, what were Europa League teams in it? White Hart Lane. Stoke have actually won at White Hart Lane over the past 3-4 years.
At once probably.
Well, still, but you know what I mean. Would it be an easy 3 points for Spurs or?
No. Stoke have never been the side that you can just
do it on a
absolutely roll
Tuesday night at Stoke?
Exactly. Stoke is that's the Messi factor. Can Messi play against Stoke? Well, the question is, will Stoke at always that time? You can never actually roll them over. Chelsea, I think, did it once, but that's when we did the double and we absolutely hooned everyone, including you.
If Tottenham
by the way, when he said you, he pointed at me, not Graham. Just
to make that clear.
Just to make that clear.
If Tottenham can't even beat Asteras Tripoli,
they did
comfortably.
Yeah.
Stoke are a decent side now.
Matt Thowney.
1-0 Spurs.
0-0.
Bags of goals.
He does not like Spurs. You can tell just by that.
I'm going to go 1-0 with Harry Kane doing something again.
Harry Kane's got to get a hat trick. 3-0 Spurs.
So 3-3, yeah.
I'm going to call it. 3-0 Spurs, right?
Final 1:30 game, which I think is the TV game.
It's on Sky Sports 1, I believe.
West Brom, Newcastle.
Oh, that should be an absolute cracker.
Newcastle are in form now.
And they got Berahino in the game.
Berahino versus Perez.
You just get the feeling with Newcastle, they're always one loss away from going completely down the pan again.
I think that's with any team. One loss can change the season.
With Newcastle, they're just too fragile for it. I don't think they're tough enough.
The thing is, this is the battle of the youngsters. Berahino of West Brom versus Perez of Newcastle.
Yeah.
I know they're different positions, but they still pretty much
definitely
changed their seasons.
They're like the key players for their teams right now.
We're gonna have to move on quickly while we do it because it's we are like going overboard here. Matt Thowney.
1-0.
Graham?
I am going to say 2-1 Newcastle.
I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle.
2-2. Why not? Throw my old friends in West Brom a bone.
Finally, Swansea City host Arsenal at the Liberty Stadium in the 4:00 game.
Sky Sports 1. Anyone that wants to watch that?
No, I can see Swansea like giving them a game. Like, I think it'll be a really close encounter. But Arsenal will edge it. It's that kind of game.
See, Arsenal are 4th in the table with 17 points, where Swansea are 6th, only 2 points behind them.
I can see the scoreline being pretty comfortable for Arsenal, but I can see it being a lot closer than it sounds.
Yeah, one of those kind of games.
Oh, it's one of those like 2-0, but it's probably like 2 goals in the last 10 minutes.
It's a lucky win kind of thing. Right.
Matt Thowney for our final prediction of the weekend.
2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that too.
I'm going to go 1-1.
I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal. Danny Welbeck, Matt. Danny Welbeck.
No, I've got a bet riding on this. He's not scoring.
He is good. And all the goals as well.
So, if you hadn't noticed, we've run out of time a long time ago. It's been a pleasure, as always. Especially having great Graham back finally with us.
What can I say? I am a pleasure.
We hope to have Graham with us.
Enthusiasm.
We hope to have Graham with us again next week, depending on schedules
and
injuries
and all this.
If not, we'll try and get Stuart in contact.
We will try and get Stuart in contact.
I'll just have to make sure I strap up my hamstring nice and tight for next week.
Yeah, we'll have to say from me, the two Matts, and Graham. Make sure you join next week.
Goodbye.
See you then.